Hello and welcome to episode of Downunder The Ring podcast. I am your host, the Warship, and I'm joined, as always, by Phid McAwesome. In fact, it's a little bit weird because lately it hasn't been you've been joined by me or I've been joined by you. I've just been gone. So you have been taking the reins along with Substitute Betson, and it's been a big, crazy time. But Phid, how are you doing?
Dude, I am fine. I am good. Life is great. I'm doing okay. We've had some dope pro wrestling in Australia, outside of Australia, all of that. But I think the big question isn't how is Phid. The big question, especially for our regular listeners and our regular viewers, is how and where has the Warship been? And how is it?
Look, it's been a bit. I've been away. It's not been great. I wish I could say it was awesome, but it's not. As you might be able to tell, I have a new setup here. It's really just a bunch of old setups mixed together, but we have moved house. So we got a new place we're living in. It's a good recording space. I'll be able to do a lot more stuff again. So stay tuned for all those times where I was like, hey, Twitch is coming back. No, for real. It's actually coming back now. But for those who don't know me, I guess we'll put a bit of a spoiler alert here. I'm in my 30s, right? I'm in my 30s, and through no fault of my own, Phid knows this. I've been going through, we've been working with the Man Shake, all in capitals. We love the Man Shake around these parts. I've been working with the Man Shake for the past year on totally transforming myself and getting myself back to ring shape and all that kind of stuff. You know it. I put the hard work in. I've put the hard work in for a long time here.
I've seen the before and after photos.
Yeah, exactly right. So it's been a crazy time. Yeah. However, we were moving house, and I was doing a lot of it myself because I had to at the time.
And you're a big, strong boy.
And I'm a big, strong boy, so why wouldn't I do that? So we're moving house, and all of a sudden I said, ooh, that doesn't feel too good, and went to the doctors. Well, actually, I went straight to the hospital, and I was there for about 12 hours before they put me into cardiology because at some point I had a heart attack.
Crazy.
And the crazy thing about that is obviously my age, for one. For two, I walked into hospital with having had a heart attack. It's the second one of those freaks of nature things that's happened because I walked into hospital.
In the last 12 months?
Well, no, because I walked into hospital with a broken neck as well. So not only did I walk into a hospital with a broken neck and say, hey, I think my neck is broken, but I also walked into hospital after having a heart attack and was like, hey, I think I had a heart attack. So...
and you had your spinal scare a few months ago as well.
Exactly right. So it's just been thing after thing lately. But I'm pretty sure it means I'm actually invincible because despite that and the fact that I've gone and I've had angiograms and all that kind of stuff, and they've put stents in my heart and everything, nothing killed me.
And that's after a couple of years ago walking into the hospital with a broken freaking neck.
Exactly right. So, it is what it is. But we're here now. We're doing good. Recovery is what it is. Like, can't lift weights for a while. The worst part about all of it is it has nothing to do with anything about my physique. It had nothing to do with my age, my lifestyle choices, all of it. Everything I spoke to, my cholesterol was low. So this is for me, for you guys, a public service announcement for everyone listening right here, right now, is you don't know. Because my cholesterol was low, healthy ranges. My weight was low, healthy ranges.
Higher than yours.
Yeah, crazy. Right. Actually, because we did discuss that afterwards as well. But I had no issues with my health. I trained 4 to 5 times a week in the gym, cholesterol low. And they literally said there's been a marker they've discovered in the last 15 years. And that marker is a genetic marker. And all it is because some people in my family have had heart attacks that I am genetically predisposed to having them because of a cholesterol marker that has nothing to do with what you put in your body. So it was going to happen at some point in my life, which is kind of shit, to be honest with you. But at least, we got through it. We're here. And from here, it's just recovery. I've got to go back in and do a stress test, all that kind of stuff. Y'all don't want to hear all about this. This is boring as heck. But for those who do care.
For the regular listeners, they're going to want to know this.
Exactly right. So for those who do care and for those who do listen regularly, that's why I've been away. I missed the AEW trip. I missed a couple of other really big, important trips as well. I was supposed to be going to Brisbane this weekend, actually.
Correct.
So, and I can't do that either.
So is that not happening?
No, I can't do it.
Oh, I'm gutted for you, dude.
What happens if I fly and then I get there and then I have a heart attack? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like in a different state without my doctors and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just not cricket. We can't do that. So, as much, and it kills me that we couldn't do that. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, what else can we do? I would rather be alive next week.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day, that's what it is. But hey, there's been a lot of stuff that's happened in my absence. You guys had a baller time with AEW. We've had so much happen in the weeks of wrestling that I've been unable to watch because, quite frankly, when you go through a crisis like this, a live event like this, you don't want to do nothing. You don't want to watch anything. You don't want to. You just don't want to do it. But I will say, because I want to get in before you say it, mate, can we really briefly talk about one of, if not the greatest return in WWE history this week?
Is that the one that happened today?
The one that happened today. That's the one I'm talking about right now.
Oh,
It was on NXT. Santino Marella coming back is just a beautiful, beautiful thing. I lost it when I saw him come back.
Dude, I actually didn't watch it live. I was halfway through a meeting and I had Twitter open and I saw the video pop up on Twitter and I was like, oh my God. And then it was the first thing I watched afterwards. Watching Santino genuinely...
Like-
and he was a dude who has been a character for years and I haven't really seen him break. I've seen him break a lot of people. Like make them laugh, break character, all that sort of thing. But watching him almost break himself with the chair that he got.
Yeah.
And how great was it just seeing Santino back in WWE?
Hearing that music and he was the walk away from it, but like just the way that you could see clearly he was like really broken up. And also, let me just state for the record, Cody Rhodes, look at Santino Marella. That's how you actually do a neck tattoo. Like that's how you do it. Just for reference,
they do have the same run.
Yeah. But it's a million percent better. But no, in sincerity as well, it was awesome to see and to be genuinely tearing up over it. Man, I really hope this is not the end for what we see from Santino as well, because I'd love to see Santino have a bit more of a role. At this point, just buy the whole company and just employ everyone. That's at this point.
It's funny because SmackDown has become periodic for me to watch. Almost all AEW I've become very periodically a watcher of. I've started very regularly watching NXT and TNA. And I genuinely think it's the most exciting thing happening in wrestling at the moment because it is the most unpredictable two shows. Both of them, I would say, collectively have the best women's roster in wrestling on TV right now. And they've now got Ricky Starks or Ricky Saints.
Saints.
Exactly. Ethan Page. We had Obafemi going up against Moose.
Yeah. Crazy times. And then not just that, but also, you never know when Joe Hendry's going to show up either.
Exactly.
And that's just, we love that too. So I think we're in a situation now where wrestling is really fun all over the shop right now. NXT
absolutely.
is really fun. AEW, you've got Raw. I will say I've had a few conversations back and forth with people, and one of the points of discourse that I've had, especially today, is how come they hired Randy Orton, but he's younger again, and put him in NXT? That's one of the conversations that I've heard a whole bunch today. And you know what? It's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
It is. It's a fair assessment. It'll be interesting to see how it all goes with the people who are coming over from TNA. But one of the things that we really want to speak about today, and I have to apologize, I'm saying like a goddamn rookie. I haven't said in the longest time. So I apologize to everybody for having to listen to that. But I will tell you that what we want to talk about today, and the thing that we want to speak about the most is we've got for the first time since they were here, only for us, because I don't think it mattered the same to everyone else. But for the
Yeah,
first time since they were here last year, Elimination Chamber feels really fresh. Like,
yeah.
this could go, and we've been saying it for months, this could go anyway.
Oh yeah,
Like,
this is the second WrestleMania season in a row where we've been like, this is going to be unpredictable. This is going to be a wild ride. Last year was a much wilder ride than I think even WWE anticipated it to be.
but we still got where we were supposed to be.
Exactly.
There is no where we're supposed to be this time.
No, we don't. We don't know where we're going, and I think what's interesting with that is we've already got a very stacked chamber, right? Everybody in there is a superstar. Everybody in there is a main event contender. Everyone, no notes. It's a perfect chamber, I would almost argue.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But then on SmackDown this weekend, we get the same wrench thrown in that we got last year, but I think this one's a very intentional wrench, not so much a one that they're going to have to backtrack on. I think this was a lot better planned, and that would be Dwayne's return on SmackDown.
Dwayne's return. Now, we got to speak about Dwayne's return because, for one, we did this in our bloody, was it last year's? No, it was the year before's 2K. I'm pretty sure it was 2K22, right? Where you can play as the Soul Taker character. Like, we've done this already. What is? Explain. I understand. We were talking about this live, and we were like, okay, it's to me what it is, what it sounds like is The Rock is essentially becoming the higher power. He's essentially becoming the corporate Vince in a world where Vince doesn't exist anymore. And he's like, I want this.
I thought in that thing, I thought that he was going to, and I would have loved it, to be honest. I think it would have been interesting, but I genuinely thought he was going to strip him of the title.
Yeah. Now, you said that live as well. You were like, is this it? Is he taking the belt off him? But I think that...
I think it would have been an interesting angle to go down.
I don't think that's the possibility is that that's over at this point, because I think that if he refuses him, there's every chance he could strip him as well. So the things that we've been hearing a lot of, and I'm sure you've seen it, because I'm pretty sure I saw you repost it, a lot of it is bearing around the fact that it won't actually end up being Cody, it'll be Punk. And that will be the catalyst for the heel turn for Punk. And it will be a payback.
I'm going to see if I can find it, because there was one person who booked it almost perfect booking. I had no notes.
Yeah. I think it was along the lines of it was payback for what happened between The Rock and Punk years ago.
Yeah, it was something like that. Now, let me see if I can find it. Oh, here we go. It was from a dude called Maverick, One True Mav on Twitter. So I want to make sure he gets credited. This was his booking. Cody refuses the offer. CM Punk wins the chamber. Rock tries to steal the Mania main event like it's 2013 and teach Cody a lesson at Mania. CM Punk uses his favor owed to him to get Roman to take care of The Rock. Roman confronts Rock and his thirst for power, and the power ties into the Ulafala, which means we get back to what we've been saying for the last 2 years. This is all about who is the head of the family. Roman versus Rock for the Ulafala, not for any title. Cinema.
The only issue with this is that they have.
I like it.
but they've also come out and they've decanonized one thing, and that is that they've come out and they've said that the High Chief's power level sits above the Tribal Chief's power. So really, he has no reason to go for the Ulafala.
And look, and that is in Samoan culture actually true. So each tribe has their own chief, and then you've got the higher chief. So they've kind of because they've mentioned that on television too. Yeah, in New Zealand we've got what's called hapu and iwi, and iwi sits above the hapu. The hapu are like smaller tribes.
So we're in a situation now where because they've mentioned this, on television, you're kind of losing a bit of motivation for The Rock. You can easily fix that, though, because all you need to do is give him a reason to be mad, and then we're right back where we need to be. Because he could be like, The Rock doesn't give a shit what your candy ass wants.
Yeah.
What I want is to beat you and take you out of this and set you on the path that you should be on, rather
But
than this
can
path.
can we please do that in a promo that's not 30 minutes long and repetitive?
And also weird and making no sense and talking about taking souls, because that was a time. That was a
Yeah.
time, and like, you know, I think I posted a Shang Tsung gif because that's the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a weird situation, and at the end of the day, I think that's cool in itself because, you know, it's different. The thing I don't like about it is that later on he's like, and then me and Cody, we had Terramana, and we were talking after this segment, and like he completely like dropped all pretense of kayfabe for the presso at the end of it, which I thought was really, really weird, considering they're trying to build this thing up. Right now, you're in WrestleMania season. It is the legitimate worst time to do that. I think that you need to keep this where it's at and really push it. But you know, it is what it is. And
The thing is, he could have done that press conference talking about WrestleMania, going to New Orleans, and he could have talked about the night and still touched on kayfabe and kept it kayfabe with the storyline. He has done it before on interviews outside of AEW, outside of WWE, when he's done talk shows and stuff like that, where he's been talking about something and someone's gone Cody Rhodes and he's gone, you know.
It just doesn't need. It didn't need to be that way. Like we could have easily got through, and he could just have been that guy. You know, like he could have talked about. The Rock doesn't want to talk about that right now. You know, like, and then you're done. Like he can keep that final boss element, and then the final boss wants to talk business and what's best for business, and then we move straight on from it, and we don't have to worry about it. But it is what it is. I think that Cena is interesting, but I think Cena. Let's just talk about this. All right, well, let's just get straight into the match because this is the big ticket item. I think Cena and all of the awesome promo stuff is a red herring because if you have to build to Cena winning that number 17, you do it at SummerSlam. You do it at the end of the year. You give him all this time to be a sad little bitch about it all the way through, and I'm not going to do it. Like September-ish. It's near the end.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
It could go as far as November.
I would just like to make sure that he's got the title before October.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
but like, you know, he could go as far as to the end of the year. Like that would be acceptable as well. It could be down to the last minute. It could be a Raw in December.
Yeah.
Because you want to push this, you want to sell it
100%.
And then he's fine to say goodbye, and then that's it.
I love the idea of Cena spending most of the year in the chase because that's more interesting. I like the idea of him getting more and more desperate as well.
Yeah.
And him teasing, turning heel. Will he use dastardly deeds? I don't think he will, but having him sort of teetering on the edge of it at times. There's so much drama to be had with having Cena in the chase and getting more and more desperate. Remember that conversation I had about who did I want last time to get more and more desperate throughout the year? There was another wrestler that we were talking about.
It's the man who I want to beat Cena in his last match.
Who was that?
It's Randy Orton.
I was, yeah.
I think that's how it should go. You give Cena the 17, and then you have Orton beat him for the belt.
And then that puts Orton at 16?
Exactly right.
Yeah, so he's now matched Flair, and Cena has the record.
Yep, and Cena did say the one thing he wants to do is to be able to shake the hand of the person who beats 17. And that gives Orton an excuse to stick around. That gives them that it's right there. Whether Orton does it or not, he could very well not do it, but it's right there, and it's used as a story device. It's used as a plot device for everything Orton does from this point onwards.
Absolutely. I 100% agree.
So that is what I would like to see. Near the end of the year, Cena wins, wrestles Orton in his last match, loses to Orton. That, to me, makes the only sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to see Cena not getting wins throughout the year.
No.
I just don't want Cena. I want to see basically Cena not being able to get the job done when it matters.
He needs to be a credible threat throughout
Yeah,
the year.
yeah,
And
exactly.
then, but he still needs to lose and then win and then lose and then win and all of that.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, he
yeah.
can't be Super Cena again. We'd
No,
love to see a little bit of that because that's nostalgic in its own sense. Cena
yeah,
wins lol, put him against 3 people, put him against 4 people, whatever it is, give him those, hit those points,
yeah.
but you don't need to go any further than that.
Here's something that I would love to see. There's been a lot of talk lately about him potentially walking into the impact zone
Yeah, I
to
can see that.
take on Joe Hendry. I think if he does fight Hendry, he should do it in TNA.
Yeah, I do too.
But the other one is TNA has booked the ballroom again,
Yeah, okay. Hammerstein.
Hammerstein. So imagine Cena walking into the Hammerstein again.
Fuck you, Cena. If
Yeah,
Hendry doesn't win, we riot.
yeah.
Like, yeah, Cena wins, we riot. That's yeah, I like that.
I like
I
the
actually like
nostalgia
that.
of that. It's the only way you can play into that era of him as well, as walking into enemy territory in the Hammerstein ballroom. Beautiful. You couldn't rewrite that.
And it would play out that way too, because you know that the people would do that, especially if he got a bunch
They're
of
going to
little
do.
wins.
It's going to be the.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
this. I know what
yeah.
this is referencing.
Yeah. Because especially if Cena came out and he dogged Hendry in a bunch of little matches,
Yeah,
or like he like dogged him in a bunch of little scenarios, and we really get that like, oh, that's a bit dirty. And
yeah,
then you're in my town now. This is my world, not your world,
yeah.
etc. I
Because
can't keep
he
saying
could
that.
also be playing it up as all of Flair's world titles weren't WWE titles.
So technically, if I beat you,
Yeah, that is number
yeah,
17.
yeah, and you could really tease it, and then Edge could spear him.
Yeah. Actually, who could you have as a callback who's currently in? Who's currently in TNA? I don't think there is anyone else you could sort of have that's a callback to
But
that era.
thank you, AJ Styles.
AJ would be perfect. AJ could
AJ
come in and be the
Styles.
savior of TNA. There you go. Booked
And
it.
that
Done.
leads to a feud between AJ Styles and Joe Hendry.
Yep. Done. Book it.
Done. Booked. Booked. There you go. Paul.
Yep.
Paul. You're welcome, Paul.
Yeah. Well, who is booking TNA these days?
It's probably still Paul.
Paul and Sean.
At this point,
Yeah.
it could easily be. But no, that's good. I'm all in for that. Let's do that.
So
It sucks
who
to
do you
discount
think,
the others.
yeah, I was going to say, who do you think walks out of the chamber as champ, though? I mean, as the winner.
Punk.
Because who you think Punk?
Punk. Has to be Punk. I can't guarantee it though.
Yeah,
Punk,
because
if
who have we got in there? We got Cena, Roman, Punk,
Drew,
Drew.
bisexual Undertaker.
Oh yeah, that's a 5.
So, all right, here's my thing. Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns is more
Seth in there as
important.
well.
Yeah, Seth's in there as well. Seth and Roman is more important at WrestleMania in a non-title capacity than Rock and Roman is this year. And The Rock has come out and said he can't work Mania this year.
Yeah,
Seth and Roman cost each other this match. They go to Mania. Punk wins because I don't see the others winning
yeah.
in that situation. Once you eliminate those two.
I absolutely do not see Priest winning this. I love Priest. I love his work, but that makes zero sense to me.
Cody turns down The Rock. CM Punk doesn't. Cody and Punk wrestle for the belt. Punk beats him because of The Rock. Punk is champion.
Kiss, walk out.
Does that not make the very most sense of everything I've said?
Okay, do you know what I like about that? I know you literally just predicted this, but I think from 99% of fans, that would be an unpredictable storyline.
Yeah. And then after the fact, rock bottom to Cody, I'll see you next year, blah, 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 blah. Because they
Yeah.
can do it down the road.
Yes.
So I think, obviously, you wouldn't do it on the show, you'd do it on Raw or something, because you want to give him Punk his flowers at the end of the show.
Yeah.
And he doesn't need another bullshit situation where something else more important happens after he wins.
And this is, look, I do like the fact that it will be finally giving Punk his main event, which he should have had years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it crosses all those boxes off.
And Dwayne's back and he's not losing it.
Yeah, yeah. And Seth and Roman get the spotlight they deserve for their match. This can finally be fucking put to bed. We can get away from this Shield garbage. They can cuddle in the ring. They can make out. They can give gobbies for all I care, as long as they don't wrestle anymore.
They can have Mox walk out and give him a big hug, and then
yeah. Look, that's never going to happen unless they get someone dressed up like him. They could do a fake Diesel. They can have a artist formerly known. We can do that. Wait, who was supposed to be in the Shield that wasn't? Who was the other guy? Instead of Roman.
No, it wasn't supposed to be. Oh no!
Oh, Chris Hero. Chris Hero could walk out. There you go. Yeah, Chris Hero can walk out.
In WWE, it's Ono.
Oh yeah, Cassius Ono can come out. Sorry, and actually, they can all be Punk's bodyguard.
AEW now, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think he's a booker there or a producer.
So if he leaves, then surely Mox can just leave, and we can have that. But again, that's over. But it gives them the spotlight they need. We can move on from it, and they don't need to be in the main. Neither of them need to be in the main at all. Punk, for a character, as a character, does. He's at a point now where he needs to be the main event of WrestleMania. Needs to be that. I understand that goes against the Rumble thing because it's supposed to be Gunther. I'll tell you right now. How many
times have we had Rumble winners open WrestleMania?
Y'all motherfuckers is opening WrestleMania this year. Gunther versus Jey Uso is opening the show.
Yeah.
Sorry. Spoiler alert, it is.
They've got the Daniel Bryan and Sheamus spot.
Yeah. And then we're probably going to get Charlotte in the main of the first night.
Please, no.
I know, but at least it's better than Nia Jax.
Is it Charlotte versus
Tiffany Stratton?
Well, we haven't got Rhea in the main event.
I mean, I'd like it, but
who
won the Rumble? I mean,
open night 2.
They can open night 2. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I think that's what they need to change the wording of the Rumble. To be honest, change the wording. You will get
a guaranteed shot at WrestleMania.
Guaranteed shot at the world title at WrestleMania.
Okay, so then if that's the case, we put Seth and Roman on night 1 in the main event. We put Punk and Cody night 2 in the main event.
Yep. Absolutely. Either that or whoever has to take on Rhea, because out of all those women, Rhea is the number one merch seller. She out of the women, she's the number one needle mover in the women's division.
Without a doubt. And don't get me wrong, I would love to see good old Rippers in that spot. Yeah. I don't know if we have lost the stink of the former, the previous year's Mania. Who was that? That was Becky. Was that Becky and Charlotte?
Was it Becky and Charlotte? Was that the one? Possibly.
I forget. Oh,
might be Ronda, actually.
Ronda. It was terrible. It was Ronda. It had to be Ronda. It was terrible. I don't care. Fight me. I don't have. I had a heart attack. Be nice. At the end of the day, I think that really set that back a lot. I think they've done a lot of awesome stuff. I think Rhea Ripley, all of the women have been doing awesome. I don't know if the people in charge of the dollars and cents will put a women's match in the main event of either night of WrestleMania. I just don't know. At this point, I'd like to see it. I'd love to see it. I just don't think we're going to see it for a while.
Yeah.
And again, I use stink is the wrong word because it's not stink. It's just there's a bit of because that was such a colossal flop that I didn't even remember who was in the match.
Yeah.
And that's a problem because I should. But that was such a colossal flop that it really did, make everyone kind of go, "Oof, oof, oof,"
Yeah.
And that being said, you have to work. If you're booking a show, you have to put the bigger match in the spot it needs to be in. You can't
100%.
just fucking cater to everybody else all the time. You can't be like, oh, because we did this, we have to do this.
You know what I think the problem actually is with why that they make those booking decisions nowadays? I think it is genuinely because once upon a time you booked the main events to sell tickets to WrestleMania and sell pay-per-views. Now we're in a world where WrestleMania sells out 6 months in advance before they've even thought about booking, or they haven't even announced booking.
It doesn't matter who's in the show.
Right? And TV doesn't matter anymore because it's all free on Netflix.
And it's not pay-per-view. There's no reason to pay to view this because you're going to get this anyway.
Yeah, so I think what they book now is I think they more book a show based on pacing rather than what's going to sell tickets, what's going to be exciting. And that's where the reason last year was one of the best WrestleManias, best endings to a WrestleMania, is because over those 2 nights we built up to a crescendo, and then the next day we built up to a crescendo, and it was a bigger crescendo at the end of night 2, so we felt like we had witnessed something and experienced something, and we walked away happy.
Yeah, no, I will agree with you there. And I do want to swing back just really briefly because I believe, and this is actually not even withstanding, our conversations about Rhea Ripley and all of that kind of stuff. I think there was a time during that 4 horsewomen really on top of the world, there was a time where I would have happily put them in the main event of WrestleMania.
Oh, all 4 of those women? Absolutely.
All 4 of them. There was a time where that was it, and it was deserved. That's not the time we're in right now.
No.
I think there's a lot of good going on, but I do not feel comfortable booking the women's match as the main event of night 1 WrestleMania when you have people like Roman and Seth colliding, when you have people like Punk and Cody, when you have Gunther and Jey Uso. The stuff was, my God, you could put Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn because that's going to be a banger.
Oh, those 2 always forever fight each other, and they will always forever put on bangers.
Yes, and it's not ending at Chamber.
No, even when these guys are being wheeled out to the ring, what's her name, Mae Young, and that they will still be fighting each other, putting on bangers in wheelchairs and walkers.
Even when they're carrying Depends and kissing old ladies, they're still going to put bangers on. That's the reality of it. So would you want to put Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton above any of those matches?
No.
But that's your WrestleMania match.
This is the thing, right? Let's just talk about Charlotte for a bit, because I hate to be a hater. But Charlotte's one of these people that I do think she, skill-wise, is genuinely one of the best in-ring professional wrestlers in the women's division.
No,
she's athletic as hell, and she knows what she's doing in the ring. I have no issues with that. I do have issues with, I think her personality is hard to get across in any way with it. As a face, impossible. As a heel, she's unbelievable. I don't believe her as a heel. And even in the ring, while I said technically great wrestler, I don't think she puts across a good way of being able to tell a story in the ring.
Yeah.
Her facial expressions, her emotions, she doesn't emote very well or anything like that. That's my biggest issue that I have with her. And the biggest reason why I cringe every time she comes back in time for WrestleMania season. I'm like, do we have to do this again?
And we do. She's collecting. She's the ring collector. We're at a point now. It's that time of the year where Charlotte comes and she gets a new husband and she gets a new championship, and then she gets injured and then she goes away.
Yeah.
And this is a perpetuating, constantly moving cycle.
Yeah.
And it'll be 2 months from now, and she'll go for some bullshit moonsault out of the ring, and she'll tear something in her leg, and then she'll be gone.
Yeah.
And that's just how it works. That's how it's worked for so long now, and we
Yeah.
keep letting it happen.
Yeah, and this is what I mean. Anybody else that was in this position where the crowd is pushing against them, and in ring they're I don't want to say a liability, but they're a liability.
She's definitely good at what she does.
But she is accident prone.
Accident prone is what I would say.
Yeah.
Hey, what about your mate Coda?
Mate,
Mate, that's the thing. Like, as much as I love Dakota Kai, lots of that kind of shit happen too. Does Dakota Kai get the celebration every time?
no.
And that's unfair because Dakota Kai is arguably a much better wrestler.
Oh, absolutely, and a better character actor. She emotes better. Everything that I say I don't like about Flair is what I think Dakota Kai does amazing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
and the amount of times I've heard people saying worried about Dakota because she's gotten injured again.
Yeah.
Because historically, that's what WWE does: is when someone's accident prone, especially when they're mid card,
they get the kick. And look, that's the thing, is we're in a situation where, that doesn't happen if you're a Flair. Like, so, at the end of the day, it's frustrating. It is what it is.
By the way, I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, my mental breakdown seeing Dakota not win again this week. Give that girl a title, man.
You're like, this is you're in a Isla Dawn hater account. Is that what you wrote? Yeah. And look, I get it. Still, it's always and forever. At the end of the day, I think that I think that what we're saying is stuff that everyone understands. If you're listening, if you're on podcast, if you're watching it live, whatever it is, I think you understand what we're trying to say. We're not trying to dog on the women. We're not trying to dog on anyone, really, with this. We're just saying that when it comes to WrestleMania, you want to see a WrestleMania match be the main event.
Yeah. Oh, look, and there's plenty of dudes and the guys. Okay. In all reality, as much as we stan LA Knight, would you put him in the main event right now?
No. And I think that Shinsuke Nakamura is the right person to be the champion right now. I don't think it's LA Knight.
Absolutely, 100%.
So at the end of the day, like, it's not bias he's there. We're just, this is just fact.
Yeah.
This is just, like our boy says, that's the cold, hard fact of it, like the fact of life, because it is. Because, like, we're in a situation where we are spoiled. And we've been saying this for months. We are spoiled. Spoiled. On all shows, no matter what you're watching, spoiled for good wrestling. And at the end of the day, that means that shit gets pushed off the card, shit gets pushed down the card, shit gets pushed out of companies. It's just what it is.
And look, the only people bitching about the WrestleMania card every year is people like us that overanalyze this shit and have our favorites and get shitty when they don't get put on. The average viewer that just tunes in every week and they don't go on Twitter, they don't listen to any podcasts, all like those average viewers, they're going to have a banger of a day on WrestleMania Day. They're not going to notice that somebody wasn't on the card.
Also, them average viewers who don't listen to podcasts hate you.
Hate you. Start listening. Buy our merch.
Listen. Get the merch.
We've got really good merch. Our merch. We've got really good merch.
We do have really good merch. We need to get more merch. But then again, we need to start doing this more. Also, I don't know if we're going to talk about it here or not, but stay tuned to the YouTube space because it's going to change real soon.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
So, we've been hosting this on my YouTube for the longest time there. And it's because, it's good. It was a way to kind of, because I got a decent amount of people there.
You had the followers.
I did. And it was about getting, the podcast out there so people could see it, all that kind of stuff. That being said, we will be launching a Downunder The Ring specific YouTube channel. And in that, we will be doing a full rebrand. So
Yes.
we'll be rebranding the logo. We'll be rebranding the shows as well. And I did say that with a plural because we will not be just be doing what we're doing right now. This is sort of our season 1 right now. We're still stuck in that. Sooner than later, we'll have a season 1 finale, and then we will turn the lights off. We'll have a bit of a Bray Wyatt, Uncle Howdy moment, and we'll be here, and we're here. And then we're going to lift the curtain, and we will have all new shit for y'all to play with.
Yeah.
But for
And as Shippy said, shows.
more
We're
things,
working on ideas. We're talking to the other people who might be involved in the ideas.
there's going
We
to be a
may be
lot of
built,
stuff.
we may be building a team.
Maybe like I don't want to say the Avengers because then one of us has to die, and I feel like either you or me, one of us gets old, and
It's
one of
either
us
the
goes like
old
this
one
and
or the one with
dies.
it's either the old one or the one with the weak heart.
Exactly right. And look, I got one of those already. So shit. That means I will explode in the end, and I don't want to do that. So we need to get someone who's going to be Thor, and they will go for the head. They won't.
Yeah.
They won't go for the chest because we got to keep that rolling. So what we'll be doing is a little bit of rebranding, a little bit of changing things up. Scheduling and all that kind of stuff has been ultimately garbage. And a lot of that has been because, well, I had a heart attack.
Oh, look, especially the last 12 months, we've had a weird mixture of health issues between either of us. We've had people dying in families. We've had all sorts of shit. It's been a weird year, but
Lots of life changes.
But also, it's been the most exciting year of Down Under the Ring because it's also the year that we were invited by WWE to something. We were invited by AEW to something. We've interviewed international superstars.
We're working with WWE Shop. Like the so many
been
little things.
Such a weird 12 months.
yeah. And then not to mention things with Fightful and everything else. And then at the same time, we're like, hey, we've got all this stuff to offer you. And then we're like, do you though? I'm like, actually, we didn't podcast the last 3 weeks. So like, it's been a bit of a strange time all around. Apologies to that. I know you guys are used to getting this once a week. But, hopefully we'll be back to form really soon. Now that I've got the shit set up and everything's all good to go, it'll be a lot easier to do this.
If this is the first time since we've been doing Down Under the Ring that you've had a permanent dedicated setup for you to do content.
Yeah, look, we've got the room is enormous, but I've got all the audio stuff I need to. I really hope it sounds okay. So for those who are watching and listening and listening, hopefully it sounds good. I don't know until after the recording is finished, but I do hope that it comes out okay because from here, this will be the space. So. We're about to do a lot of stuff with it, and hopefully, you guys will enjoy it too. I've got the big old green screen sitting there too for some other stuff, which we've been talking about. So, look, expect big things. Well, not big, medium things. Expect
things.
Expect things.
Let's not put the expectations too high.
We're not.
It was like under promise, over deliver.
We'll send the right angle dick pic, not the wrong angle one. And we give you a good expectation. There's not too much expectation. It'll be a good time, but we're gonna ramp up to where we really need to be. So I would say I hate it because it sounds like such a wanky wrestler thing to say, but big things is coming. Watch this space. This is our year. All that other bullshit that you always hear every single year. I'm going to write a list of wrestlers I want to wrestle. None of that stuff will happen, I don't think. But as far as me and like my stuff goes, like I will be back to content soon. We've got some stuff to do with Manshake still. And outside of that, we're in a decent spot right now.
Things are happening.
Yeah, really slowly, but really purposefully, I think is probably the right word for it. So,
and look, before we wind up the show, just one thing I do want to sort of say, and this here is actually not directed at the live viewers, but I'm going to talk a wee bit about the live viewers, is for those of you that are listening to the podcast audio or you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, after the show, we actually do a bit of a Q&A with the people that are hanging around in chat on TikTok and on Twitch. So that's what you're missing out on.
Where were you, dickhead? Yeah. Huh? You could have been in here. Were you too good to be here?
Great.
Why don't you love me? That's the real question. Is what I'm asking. I had a heart attack, and you
Yeah,
couldn't
can't
even
avoid the
show up.
guilt. But yeah, I think that's us for this week.
It is absolutely, and yeah. For those who have been here, thank you so much for watching. For those listening, thank you so much for listening. For those doing a combination of both, hey, that's awesome. You're ambidextrous but audio. There must be a word for that. We'll figure it out at some point. Thank you, especially for doing those things. And until next time, hopefully I'll still be alive, and we'll see you down under the ring. And that's the
And
end of that thing.
that's
And
the end of
see.
the audio. I just want to shout out people. There's people in chat. Firstly, I did see your comment, Bella, telling me that it was past my bedtime. I am not that old.
I don't know about that one. Wait, I had the heart attack though, so I can't make any of those jokes.
Yeah.
Depressing.
Yeah. Shout out to who have we got here? We got Space Case. We have Doom Cutie. What up, Doom Cutie?
What up, Doom?
She's over your side of the world.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to go through everyone because we actually had some rolling
Heck yeah.
viewership tonight, which is awesome.
I didn't get to see any of it because I don't have TikTok open. I only have Twitch open.
I was going to ask you one thing, and it probably wouldn't have fit into the flow of the show, but I'm going to ask you about it now.
Go and do it.
Did you watch Grand Slam?
I did.
What was it like seeing your old mates performing at home in a arena like that?
It's cool. The thing is I've almost become desensitized to it now because I've got such awesome, famous friends who are doing so many cool things. And it's not even just the ones that we talk about. I'm talking people about like Australian suicide. I've been watching people who I know and care about do this at a high level for a long time now. It is always awesome to see the people, most of them, get to do their thing on that international stage because they really do deserve it. They put the hard work in. Very, very gratifying for those who are coming up now who haven't quite got there yet. It's really gratifying for them to see where you can go. And people like Tommy Knight, still on the indies here in Australia, getting that go.
He got a massive unannounced shot on Ring of Honor. That was awesome.
Just getting the shot right there. That's it. That's what it's all about because that tells the next generation of guys that they've got a chance.
Exactly.
that there's a chance to do something. And
it's that old adage of make sure you've got your gear in the car.
I was about to say that. Always bring your gear bag to every show you go to. I've got a couple of mates who are training right now, and they sent me messages from it, and they're like, I bought my gear bag, even though I'm not on the show. I've got my gear bag. It's ready to go because you never know. You never know when it comes to anything when it comes to this stuff.
What was funny is, and basically, I would say most of the people who are there wouldn't have noticed it, but anybody that watches Australian independent wrestling, the Ring Crew, were all indie guys from Australia. So it was hilarious. Like
they would have all been there doing a tryout or at least having a schmooze with everyone. They would have all been in that situation, and it's about getting seen. It's about getting seen and having those people have those conversations with you. It's just a handshake. It's just a walk past. It's oh, hey, man, I actually have seen what you do, because everyone is looking everywhere. At this point, Australia is a hotbed.
I just realised I don't sit up straight now. We're not doing the podcasty part. So
no, you can relax. You can chill out. But we're in a hotbed in Australia, and everyone knows it. So right now is the best time to be an Australian wrestler.
100%.
So you go to all those things, and you do the Ring Crew everywhere. Even on an indie level, if you're not booked yet and you want to get booked, you do that shit. You get yourself in there. You do that.
Well, because the same guys that were hanging around at ringside at AEW were the same guys that were running the Super Show, that were running the Red Castle event on the Sunday.
And I'm sure a handful of them were the same guys we saw at Elimination Chamber.
Exactly, right.
So That's the nature of it right now, and you never get seen if you don't go out.
Yeah.
You know, like it's the same as picking up. You're not going to get no pussy if you don't go try to get some. You know, like that's what it is when
Well,
it
they
comes to
don't just come to
wrestling.
you.
That's the not you, me.
Oh.
Um, but that's the equivalency. You know, like the equivalency of the whole situation.
Hey, what do you mean? Like, I could be like turning them down.
Well, you could be. You're not allowed to though. You're getting so much trouble. So will I.
Oh, no. I don't get in trouble for turning down.
I mean, yeah, that's actually a good point. But
Yeah.
you shouldn't be having these conversations at all. You should be saying, "Excuse, look at my finger here. Excuse me," you know, and then that's what you need to be doing.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to tell you this. You know this. You've been successfully married a lot more.
Yeah, too long. It's crazy. Wait, not too long. A perfect.
No, you can't say too long. You've been married for the exact
long
right
enough.
amount. Yeah, not long enough. Forever is not long enough, actually.
Yeah. There's something else I wanted to ask you about as well, but it's slipped my mind now.
It's not an anniversary you've missed, is it?
No. I know.
Get
Funny
scared.
enough, I'm the one who remembers anniversaries.
Yeah. I'm garbage, not with anniversaries particularly because I've got some easy ones, but more so with birthdays. And it's honestly, I think it's like a bit of the old CTE. I think it's a little bit of the old. After I broke my neck, I just forgot everything, and I haven't been able to recover it. Like, and the heart attack kind of helped. So if I miss a birthday, it's clearly because of those things.
Oh, mate. Just wait until you start getting into your 40s. It's like Facebook's your best friend only. I hate Facebook, but I love Facebook because it's the best reminder of someone's birthday.
You can just open birthdays as a little side tab, apparently, as well.
Yeah,
so
you
don't
can.
even need to. You don't even need to have a conversation with the app itself, and you can just go straight there, and it's up and ready to go. I just put them in my calendar for my Google or my OneDrive, depending on where I am. I just put birthdays in there now because otherwise it's out of my head. It's in the bin, and I've always kind of been like that, except for it got worse in like 2018 when I got hurt.
No idea why.
No, there's probably something, but honestly, like I don't know, man. Like wrestling's such a beautiful world and a beautiful place to be around. It's not even for the fact that they might get seen or the fact that there might be someone who wants to book them, but just for the experience of getting on those shows in a backstage capacity, going and eating at catering and feeling like a wrestler and all that stuff,
There was one thing that I did want to talk about, and I wasn't going to bring it up on the show, but I'm going to bring it up now. Was one thing that really grinded my gears on AEW weekend?
What?
I've spent the last 3 to 4 months talking about, if I could get in front of Tony Khan for 10 minutes, I just want to ask him some questions about this show. We got an interview with Tony Khan, and I wasn't there.
It's on the YouTube right now. You guys can go see.
It is on the YouTube right now, but that annoyed the crap out of me. Like,
yeah.
Not even a jealousy thing because, Deeds did an amazing job of filling in for both of us when we couldn't be there that day because for some reason AEW decided to do interviews a day before or 2 days before the event instead of the day before, like most people would do.
Yeah.
And Deeds stood in, and he did a great job. All of his interviews were great.
And it wasn't you.
But no. And it wasn't the fact that it wasn't me that was the issue. It was purely I've been wanting to talk to Tony about his booking decisions of AEW and talk about the data and all that sort of thing. Like, I genuinely wanted to take my knowledge of what I do for a job and sort of talk to him about the decision-making process of bringing that show to Australia.
You wanted to slut out OG. That's what you want to do. You're going to be like, hey, who should be the marketing team? The leaders.
Mate. I genuinely would have slid him one of our business cards because...
Yeah, I know you would have.
Because it would have actually been, I would have gone, mate, your advertising sucked here.
I saw your tweet. I know the ulterior motive. I saw that shit. I had a dream the other day, and I won't tell you.
I genuinely had that dream. It was crazy. Look, I was sick and it was a fever dream. But I had this dream, and what's funny is I wasn't clear which company I was working for, but I was in charge of content creator relations which was basically I was the guy that had to bring in content creators to be in the crowd and create content around events and promote the events and all that sort of thing. And I was like, I woke up and I was like, yeah, that's cool. I want to do that for a job. That's the one thing I would quit my own company
Your
to
own
go
company
do.
for. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely what it was.
Yeah. I don't think that's a job that's ever going to exist. But look, Tony Khan, I know you do watch what's going on the internet. Let's talk.
Well, look, what is it? Was our old mate? Was it who was it? Carson at that's who it was. Who did it? Wasn't it at the
Yeah.
at
I've
Raw?
got fucking rolled.
Yeah, no, but like in the crowd, like actually streaming the show,
Oh yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
while it was happening.
Oh
Like,
yeah, it was Speed who got rolled.
oh yeah, it was Speedy got rolled. Yeah, yeah. But I think that's breaking terms of service. I think, but is absolutely something that could happen. What are
There's a
you looking
weird
at?
thing that TikTok does,
What is it
where
doing?
on the hour it goes, "We're going to end your stream,"
Oh, cool. All right. Well, that's good then.
and then you have to go, "No, don't end my stream."
Oh no. How are we looking with our upload too? It's at 67%. So when we stop,
Well, I
it'll be
also
okay.
haven't stopped.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But in
Should we
saying
stop?
that, we should probably stop the stream. I'm sweating and need a shower. It is so hot here at the moment.
And I need to also not be alive or awake. So let's do that. But thank you, live people, for watching and hanging out with us. We very much so appreciate it. And yeah, I guess we'll see you also down under the ring next time.